There are moments that try the human soul so violently and so perplexing that if the truth were told, all of us have had moments that we wanted to throw up our hands and walk away. Discouragement can creep in secretly, hide behind clothes, makeup, hairdos. Discouragement is so bold that it will even hide behind a smile. It will always ride to work with you. And if it doesn't catch a ride going to work, it'll catch a ride on the way back home. Discouragement will go into a tent. It will walk right into a Section 8 neighborhood. But don't think that it stops. Discouragement will walk right into a middle-class house. It won't just stop there. It'll go in a mansion and sit on the side of a jacuzzi and tell you life is not worth living. If you listen at discouragement, it will cause you to make bad decisions. It will cause you to think that life is not worth living. And secretly, behind the facade of a smile and a good morning and a praise the Lord and a how are you, you will wonder if you're ever going to get out of what you're into.
One of the things that we know about life is that it is always changing. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes you're happy, and sometimes you're sad. Now that's that thing called life. And when we begin to understand and know that, accepting that reality, that we will never ever have things just on an even keel all the time, that you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. But during those down moments, that's where the growth takes place. That's where the work is. Anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they have happy relationships, the children are acting normal, business is successful. Anybody could be positive then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. See, but the real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. Adversity introduces a man to himself or a woman. How you handle it, that's where the growth takes place. And you can run faster with 100 who want to go than with one around your neck. These people are bad for your health. Toxic relationships are relationships with people that always criticize you. All they can do is find fault. All they can do is just exploit your weaknesses. All they can do is remind you of the mistakes that you've made in the past.
How do you think? And how do you get to think the way you think? And what made you think what you think right now? The history that created you is still with you. And even though you wear different clothes, drive a different car, it's the same person. Because somehow our history is so heavy, it's tough to cut loose. We still apologize for being successful. We feel ashamed to be in charge.
See, there are some people that aren't good for you. So you got to look at the people in your life and find out what kind of person are you becoming because of that relationship. My mother used to say, birds of a feather flock together. You run around with losers, you will end up a loser.
Now listen to me. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care what you're going through. If you're not dead, he ain't through with you yet. As long as you're waking up, you still in the game. You can still make it happen. As long as that breath in your nostrils move, you still in the game. You still can win. Now get your butt up.
This is time to look at the relationships in your life and ask the question, what kind of person am I becoming because of this relationship? Am I growing mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Am I becoming a better person because of this relationship? Is it an asset to me or a liability?
Don't save that last bullet for yourself. You lock and load that last bullet and you shoot it at your enemy. And you keep fighting and you keep fighting no matter what. And if you feel like your life is in a place where you can't get any lower, good. Because that means the ultimate challenge is ahead of you. It means you can only go up.
See, but will cause you to procrastinate, but will cause you to hide out behind fear, but will cause you to come up with all type of excuses that you can validate your inaction. And right now, more than ever, people need to look for ways to live their dream. People need to look for ways to make it on their own. There is no such thing as job security. There's no such thing as a storm-proof or tragic-proof life.
Discipline is defined as self-imposed standards for the sake of a higher goal. All leaders have to have the quality of self-discipline. You are not a leader if you are not self-disciplined. A leader doesn't need much discipline from the outside. They self-impose discipline on themselves. And that is what we call self-discipline.
Because what I want you to know, what I want to know, what I want to know, is that everything worthwhile is uphill. Everything. There is nothing in your life, there is nothing in my life that's worthwhile, that's quick and easy. You have to fight for it every day. You have to climb for it every day. Does it come to you? It's not in 3 easy packages, and it's not the cure to overnight success. Everything worthwhile is uphill.
For anybody out there who's chasing greatness, who's trying to make a change in their life, who knows that there is something better out there for them, I'm talking to you. Because on your journey to whatever you want, right, to that ever-elusive best version of yourself, there's going to be times in your journey where you catch yourself comparing your path to others.
And that's the problem. There are those of you, you're still immature. When your excitement is up, your effort is up. But when your excitement goes down, your effort goes down. For some of you, you're too seasonal. When you're excited, man, you coming to work the first week, the first month, the first 3 months when you got that job, you were excited, and so you were putting forth effort. You on blaze. Now you got comfortable, and you're not excited no more. And guess what happened? Your effort has gone down. So do me a favor. Get off of that feeling stuff. Get off your excitement. We're not dealing with feelings because feelings go up and down. You don't have to be excited. You made a commitment to that job. Did nobody force you to take that job? You signed your name on the dotted line. And commitment said, I don't care how I feel. I don't care if I'm excited. I don't care if I'm pumped up. I don't care if I'm fired up. You made a commitment. Now it's time to put up.
The promise of the future is an awesome force. We look back for experience, but we have to look forward now for inspiration. And what gives us inspiration to get up in the morning and do our job, learn skills, develop all that we can possibly be, is the promise of the future. And it can be so powerful that it can overwhelm any adversary you might have, any difficulties you might have. Here's a key phrase. Reasons make the difference in how your life works out. Reasons make the difference in your appetite and zest for taking on the challenge, doing the job, becoming successful. Mr. Shoaff said, if you have enough reasons, you can do the most incredible things. You can get through the most difficult day. You can overcome the most unbelievable challenges if you have enough reasons. And so he said to me, if you haven't got a list of your goals, Mr. Rohn, it's probably because you don't have enough reasons. He said, I'm sure since I've met you, you have enough intelligence. And he said, you have enough good health. And he said, you have, all of those things working for you. But here's what you must work on now is to have enough reasons. Looking into the future, developing reasons. Now here's a note to make. It's important to make sure that the greatest pull on your life is the pull of the future. Some people let the past pull them back, pull them back. The past can be like gravity if you let it to pull you back. Some people live in the past. They live in the darkness of the past. They live in the mistakes of the past. They live in the discouragement of the past. They didn't make it, and that affects them for the rest of their life, living in the past. So we don't want the past to pull us back, to live in the past. So make this note. Dreams and goals can become magnets. Dreams and goals can become magnets. And the stronger the goal, the higher the purpose, the more powerful the objective, the stronger this magnet is that pulls you that direction.
You are everything. Keep trucking and keep doing the things that you need to do. There's greatness in you. Say it as many times as you have to. It can even start as a whisper. There's greatness in you. But keep repeating it, because the mindset works best with consistency. Even when it hurts, even when it's hard. Keep moving forward. Keep believing in yourself.
Every multi-millionaire and every multi-billionaire in this world that are living on the top have all decided that I'm going to commit myself to this career, this vision, this goal. No parties. They're going to call you names. They're going to say you're corny. They're going to call you a square. Those are the characteristics of a champion. Those are the characteristics of someone that have said that I have decided that I'm going to create a shift in this universe.
When I'm discouraged, I need somebody to come alongside me to encourage me that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That kind of talk wakes up my faith.
Most of us go through life pretending that everything is okay, pretending that we don't have any special goals or ambitions or desires, pretending that we're satisfied where we are. But if you look at our behavior, if you judge based upon what we do, see, a lot of people pretend that they want more out of life, but all you have to do is watch their actions. That will tell you something.
Some of y'all playing. Stop playing. You talk about you want to be successful. Stop tripping. You ain't serious. If you say it's too much, if you say you can't do no more, it means you don't want it. You're not willing to make the investment. It ain't never too much if you really want it.
It's not the most talented person that succeeds. Talent don't mean a doggone thing if talent don't show up. It's not the quickest. It's not the fastest. It's not the strongest. No. That's not the person who makes all their dreams become a reality. Sometimes it's less talent and more effort.
So here's what we want to do in our goal setting session, is to start looking into the future. What you would like to accomplish, where you would like to go, the person you would like to be. And see if you can't get a better picture of the finished objective. See yourself there. See yourself in possession of. For your dreams to greatly influence you, for the future to pull you, your future must be well planned. There are two ways to face the future. One is with apprehension, the other with anticipation. Guess how many people face the future with apprehension? Why? They don't have it well designed. And without really thinking about it, they have probably bought someone else's view of how to live. You will face the future with anticipation when you have planned a future you can get excited about. When you have designed your future results in advance. In this way, the future will capture your imagination. It will exert an enormous influence on you. And to design your future, you must have goals. Well-defined goals are like a magnet. They pull you in their direction. And the better you have defined them, the better you have described them, the harder you work on them, the stronger they pull. And they pull you through all kinds of difficulties, too. Without goals, it is easy to let life deteriorate to the point where you're just making a living. It is not difficult to get trapped by economic necessity and settle for existence rather than substance. We all have a choice. We can either make a living or design a life. Now we're going to take some time to actually start designing the next 10 years of your life. We're going to start setting your goals. Goal setting is one of the most important skills to develop if you want to design your future. I'm going to give you enough homework not only to keep you busy for the rest of your life, but also to help you create the kind of life you may have always dreamed about living, but never believed possible. So let's get on with it. The sooner you exert the discipline, the sooner you will be enjoying the results. Once the results start to come, believe me, you won't mind the hard work and discipline it's going to take. Now, get a sheet of paper, and at the top of it, write the words, long-range goals. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to jot down the answers. If you don't have paper and pen handy, follow along with me now anyway, just listening. Then later, listen again when you can write down your ideas. After I've asked the questions, which is the first part of this exercise, you can stop the tape and work on your answers. Entitle this part of it now, Workshop. And under the workshop, I'm going to ask a series of questions, and it's going to serve as a model so that you can teach this to your children, you can teach it in classes, you can teach it anywhere. Under the workshop, now here's the first question. What 5 things have you already accomplished that you're proud of? Let's take some credit before we go to work on the future. We've accomplished some things in the past. Let's give ourselves credit for that. What 5 things have you already accomplished that you're proud of? So I want you to make a note of that question, and then I want you to do the exercise. Make a list of 5 things that you can think of that you've already accomplished that you're proud of.
Everybody been through that moment in their life. We've all hit a point in our life where it wasn't going right. The one way to coach your mind from depression is with gratitude. Just start writing down everything you have to be grateful for. Your health, you can still see. I have clothing. I have a place to live. I ate today. I got a friend that I can call and share my troubles with. You would be stunned how long you'll be writing. Now, let me tell you what happens. Gratitude erases all negativity because there's no room now for negativity. Joy and depression cannot reside in the same space. Gratitude changes your perception. Your perception changes your existence. Now, a lot of people say, Steve, I don't have time to do that. You do have time. If you don't have time, you should make time. Because gratitude is the #1 way to become successful. Because the more grateful you become, the more things God will give you to be grateful for. If somebody come to your house every day and ask you for a cup of sugar, and you give them a cup of sugar and they take the sugar and they just walk off, how many days can this person come to your house and get this cup of sugar and never say thank you? Not many. Because at one point you're going to say, hey, wait a minute, hold up, man. You done came by here 6 times. I done gave you this cup of sugar and you ain't said thank you 1 time? So now let's think for a second. If this God wakes you up every day, it's not your alarm clock that wakes you up. It's not you that's waking up. It's God allowing you to wake up. So if you ever stop to just thank him for everything he's done for you, guess what he'll do tomorrow? He will add to that list of stuff that you can thank him for. Gratitude is the #1 principle of success. That's what the average person doesn't understand. You can start that today. That would change your life. You ain't got to believe me. Try it. I dare you.
When you look back over your life, you can see the faithfulness of God. Times where he made a way where you didn't see a way. Even when you made mistakes, he showed you mercy, covered you, and brought you out and moving forward. You didn't get to where you are by yourself. It was the hand of God. He's been working behind the scenes in your life, lining up the breaks that you need. Even before you were born, God was orchestrating things in your favor. Some of the favor that you're seeing didn't have anything to do with you. Other people worked harder, but they didn't get the position. You're reaping from what your relatives sowed. Seeds of favor that didn't start with you. Someone in your family line made it easier on you. They got up early. They went the extra mile to do the right thing. But God never lets a seed be sown without a harvest. They sowed it so you could benefit. That's why I take time every day to say, God, I recognize your goodness. I know I didn't get here by myself. You chose to bless me. See, it's easy to think, well, Joel, I'm successful because I'm talented. Let me ask you, where did you get that talent? Where did you get the wisdom? Where did you get the funds to go to school? Why did the scholarship go through? Why did the loan go through? Because God favored you. He chose you to go further than those before you. In one sense, it didn't have anything to do with you. It's just the hand of God putting you here at this time where you can reap what others have sown. If you knew all the things God has been orchestrating behind the scenes to get you where you are, people, protection, opportunities, you would be amazed. God's been thinking about you long before you got here. You didn't get here on your own. The creator of the universe chose you. When I think about all that God has done, I can't keep it to myself. I have to say, Lord, thank you for your goodness. I recognize your favor in my life. The scripture says, don't despise the day of small beginnings. Don't get discouraged because where you are is much smaller than what's in your heart. But you have to be faithful with the small before God will trust you with much. It's easy to think, well, Joel, when I see some growth, then I'll give it my all. No, you have to give it your all right where you are. God is watching. Stay faithful. Your time is coming. I think about my grandmother that made 10 cents an hour. My grandfather that worked at the factory all those years. And when I realized how far God has brought us, how He's taken us further than we ever imagined, I can't help but say, Lord, thank you for what you've done in my life. When you look back over your life and see the faithfulness of God, don't take it for granted. It wasn't a lucky break. That was the goodness of God. He said in verse 11, beware that in your plenty you do not forget the Lord your God. When you have built nice houses, when your gold and silver has multiplied, when your health turns around, when you have that baby I promised, don't let it become so common that you don't recognize it was my goodness, that you don't take time to thank me for what I've done. We've seen God do amazing things. You know it was God's favor. At the time you were so grateful. Don't lose that sense of awe. Live with that amazement at what God has done. If you don't remember what God has done, then it's easy to start taking the credit. We did it in our own power. But if you don't recognize it's His goodness, the same God that opened the door can close the door. That's why I never get tired of thanking God for what He's done in my life. Have you forgotten what God has done? That's what causes blessings not to last. It's like this man I heard about. He pulled into a crowded parking lot. He prayed, God, please help me to find a place to park. Right on cue, this car up front backed out. He said, never mind, God, I found one. Sometimes we have short memories. He's the reason your company chose you over somebody else. He's the reason your health turned around. Sure, the medicine helped, but God is the healer. Take time to acknowledge His goodness. Not only are you thanking Him, but you're reminding yourself, I didn't get here by myself. We weren't created to contain glory. We were created to give God glory. But the moment you start keeping the glory, that's when the favor's going to stop. But when you're constantly bragging on God's goodness, thanking Him for what He's done, you're going to continue to rise higher. God opposes the proud, but gives favor to the humble. What has He done in your life? Are you recognizing it? Or have you let it become common? If you're going to continue to go further, you have to remember it is the Lord your God that got you to where you are, and it is God that's going to keep you going. Thank Him for the doors He opened, and thank Him for the doors He closed. Now here's the key. When you see favor that you've never seen, always remember it is the Lord your God that's causing you to increase. Why don't you get up every morning and say, Lord, thank you for your goodness. If you'll do this, I believe you're about to see influence, opportunities, income that you've never seen.
You must live in a spirit of gratitude. There are a lot of things that we need to be thankful for. There are big things, there are little things. I'm thankful for the life that I live, for my children, and for the people who have enriched my life. Life changes every day, but you can choose in the midst of all of this that's going on to be happy in spite of it. Douglas Matlock has a poem I love. He said, sure, this world is full of trouble. Lord, I've had enough and double reason for complaint. Skies are often gray, but say, ain't it fine today? Each must have his tribulation, water with his wine. But today is fine. It may rain again tomorrow. But say, ain't it fine today?